what's up everybody? Welcome to another weekly Wednesday live stream. I'm Peter.
My name's Erik.
And we're still not sitting anywhere near each other because I can't think... this would be fun, right?
That's other...
yeah. It's like Mortal Kombat, but then the bad version.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mortal Erik.
Yeah. MSI Mortal Kombat. Anyway, so thanks for joining again this week. This week we're going to be talking about this little guy right here.
Not sure.
Well, no, we are going to be talking about it. We were also planning to show you some live gameplay. However...
something is missing.
Yeah. Starts with D and ends with River.
The drivers.
The drivers. Unfortunately, I mean, we don't get preferential treatment. We're not media. We're not a review. You know, we don't do official reviews. So we don't get access to any review drivers. So we have to wait until they are actually available online. And unfortunately, I mean, most of the time they're available at the same time that the reviews go out, which was an hour ago.
Yeah. So this is always we try to live stream on Wednesdays at like 4 o'clock CET. Sometimes this collides with the NVIDIA schedule, and yeah, everything is last moment.
This has happened a lot lately, especially with the 30 series. I think all of them pretty much we scheduled that, our live stream happens about like an hour after the NDA for reviews goes live. So we're always cutting it close. But yeah, sometimes, like now, unfortunately, I mean, I've been F5ing for the past hour, and I'm gonna do it again now because who knows.
We asked NVIDIA, right?
We did, yeah, and there was a deafening silence, unfortunately. So they didn't reply. I mean, it wasn't an official request. We just, we know some people there, and we asked them, some people behind the scenes, and sometimes we're lucky they answer, and this time, unfortunately. I mean, maybe the guy was on holiday. I don't know. I don't speak to him like
maybe
on
we will
regular
never
basis. Usually I just speak to him whenever I need something, and he knows that.
when you need drivers.
Well, pretty much, yeah. So it's like, hey! It's like, what? You need drivers?
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, so we'll see.
Does it work with normal NVIDIA drivers? No. New GPUs are always...
They shouldn't, but what I'll do is I've just downloaded the current, basically, drive from, I think, what was it? 17th of January, the latest version was. And I will install them because I've got a backup GPU, which unfortunately is not as it's not going to be as good as the 3050, but this thing will have to do. And this is
green screen keys some pass away.
Yeah, but this is a 3080 12 gig. We also we got a sample in like a while ago, but we never featured it on a live stream, so might as well throw this one on the system if we don't get the driver sorted.
We're going to play Extraction, right?
Sorry?
Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yes, yeah, and of course we're going to, the plan was indeed to also play some Rainbow Six Extraction.
And we have a giveaway.
Also, coincidentally, Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah. So if you want to participate, go to msi.com/do/insider. On YouTube and Twitch you can also click on the Gleam link. Not sure if it's working, should be, otherwise we will hear you in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, much green screen indeed.
I see some people asking, Gaius Emil is asking 5.11.23 won't work for it. Is that a new one? Because I just checked, but...
It works.
The one that I found, oh crap. Wait, what? No, what? Did I download GeForce Experience? I hope not. Hells to the no. Anyway, oh yeah, anyway. That version is from, it's loading, come on.
I'm going to adjust my webcam bit.
No, that version is from the 14th of January. So what I'll do is I will download it, and if it doesn't work on a 3050, which it's not in the supported cards list, which makes sense because this card wasn't released when the driver was. But then at least we can still switch to the 3080 12 gig if necessary for the gameplay later on. I was also seeing a lot of Erik's webcam was a bit...
I was like 10 FPS, so I was fixing it. Because I'm a 60 FPS guy, minimum. You remember
You
in
need
the
to
past?
keep up with, if you want to keep it up with Eric, you need at least 60 FPS.
Yeah, you remember in the past we had a colleague, maybe you guys remember him, Johan.
Yeah.
He was not a PC gamer. Still, I don't know why he ended up in our team. Anyway.
I don't know. Who does the hiring around here?
Don't know. Anyway, so he played always on like Xbox or something, so we printed like 30 FPS on him and put it on the wall on top of him.
I
like
think it was
with an
like
arrow.
happy with 30 FPS. It was, I guess it could be considered bullying, workplace bullying, but yeah.
Could be. Anyway, he left. We're still waiting for a barbecue.
Yeah, could it be because of that? Anyway.
So Johan, if you're watching,
exactly.
Summer is coming up. We love barbecues.
Yes. All right. So while we wait for for the driver to download. By the way, I'm sorry if I cough every now and again. I've got a bit of a cold. Don't worry, I did get tested. It's just a normal, common cold.
It's something else.
Yeah. So anyway, it's we should be all okay here.
It's something else and deadly.
I hope not, but we'll see.
Well, I hope not. I'm here.
Well, you're not physically next to me, so you should be fine. Anyway.
Oh.
Why is the driver not downloading? I told it to download.
Michiel is difficult to satisfy with my webcam colors.
I think you could have stopped that. Michiel is difficult to satisfy.
Yeah, true.
In general. Anyway, yeah, let's first go back to the giveaway. So you can we're giving away multiple game keys of Rainbow Six Extraction. It's quite a fun game. I had a bit of a go on it as well, and later on Eric and myself will play as well. It's a co-op-focused multiplayer game. Eric indeed didn't touch it yet, so he's going to go all Battlefield and get himself killed probably.
Yeah. Actually, Battlefield is like quite disappointing, so this might be, if I like it, it's my
Well, you know what? Most games, I've seen a lot of reviews that people are a lot of times disappointed that a lot of games these days, even though they look like they're like all about stealthy and having to be tactical, but in the end, if you run in shooting everything, you're fine.
Yeah.
As long as you hit something. In this game, that's apparently not the case.
Okay, let's wait and see.
So you really have to, sneak and stealth your way around if you want to be successful and really be careful. Yeah. Anyway, so multiple game keys. Thank you for Ubisoft for providing those keys. By the way, we also have a. I think is it an action with this game? Also, one of the reasons why we're featuring it, besides the fact that of course it's one of the latest games, but also it's and it's fun. But we also have a.
Should I share your screen?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I know we have. What is it? I know we have a special edition laptop.
No, just Google it. Of Google it, I mean, no, not Google it.
Well, I am.
Just on the product page, just say Rainbow Six.
No, Extraction, I think, yeah.
Oh, Extraction, I don't know. Yeah,
there we
that
go.
one.
Yeah, so it's the Crosshair 15 Rainbow Six Extraction edition. We actually tried to get the laptop here for today's live stream.
No, we're still trying.
Yeah, so
not, yeah.
It will, no, but it's scheduled to arrive at some point in the coming weeks. Am I saying that right? No, actually, I think maybe next week or something. Anyway, if we do get it in, we will try to sneak it in one of the live streams because it does look really, really nice. Anyway, special edition based on this game as well. It looks really nice. I think they did a really nice job on the details as well.
That's always difficult if you want to brand something with a game, co-brand something. It's always very difficult to do.
Yes, yeah. But I think they did.
You could have fooled me. Can you go up? Keyboard.
Yeah.
You could have fooled me. This could also be Cyberpunk.
Maybe, yeah, because of the yellow. I guess.
Yellow, blue, green. Yeah.
True, I guess. Anyway, but it's it's not. I don't think it's overdone. It doesn't look overdone to me. It's still quite subtle in a way. It's not like it's big yellow sign or something. Yeah, they did a pretty nice job. Anyway, if we can get this thing in the coming weeks, we'll also feature it on the live stream, show it to you guys.
Can you mine crypto with a laptop? You can mine crypto with everything, with CPU, GPU. So yes, also with this laptop.
What?
But it's built for gaming.
Yes. So really, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna mine on it, that's on you. But you don't get any support from MSI.
No.
I mean, you can still get warranty, obviously, I guess. But yeah, it's not really what.
Okay,
it's built
Peter,
to
let's
do.
talk about GPU.
Yeah. So 3050. I actually made a few slides. How do I? What was it again? Here we go. Yeah. 3050, RTX 3050 even. So we have 3 different versions available. All this information can be found on msi.com, by the way, including specifications. So we've got the gaming, which is dual fan, as we've got here as well, the twin frozzer. We've got Ventus 2X. 2X also, of course, means dual fan. And we've got the Aero ITX, so that's a single fan and it's a small form factor. So that will be, for those of you, Michiel, anyway, we know Michiel is also a big fan of small form factor builds, or ITX builds.
He's already spamming the chat.
Yeah. So yeah, that's indeed, so that would be the choice for Michiel indeed. It's pretty much almost the same performance. Of course, when it's a bit bigger card, you can probably squeeze a bit more performance out of it, but there won't be that much difference. But yeah, for small form factors, Aero ITX is also available.
Yeah. It's always very interesting to me how many SKUs you make for a certain product, and in the end, in the high end, you have a lot of maybe more options because you can go for 3 fans.
Usually, yeah.
You can go for an extreme overclocking edition with RGB and all the stuff on there. You can have like Ventus, which is like a normal SKU.
Yes.
And in the high end, of course, you cannot make a Aero ITX because normally they're too big, the PCB with all the memory and the VRM, it's too big.
Not just that, you could, but I mean the cooling would be insufficient. Yeah. Either that or the fan would have to, pretty much spin at max speeds all the time. And I mean, so only if you're deaf or if you don't mind, really loud noise, constant fan noise. But then again, also, I mean, if the fan is working constantly, having to work constantly that hard, it's probably not good for fan life either. No. It's not recommended. So
and as you can see, we didn't put a 3-fan version here because actually for 3050, later we also talk about that. Yes. It's really overkill.
It is, yeah. It really shouldn't be necessary. You can still do it, but that will probably just increase the cost price of the card. The material cost quite a lot, and the benefits are minimal compared to a dual fan card. Yeah. You'll probably be able to reduce the fan speed by a little bit, meaning it might be a little bit less noisy, but this card is really silent to begin with. So honestly, you get a few decibels difference where it doesn't really matter because you won't hear the card anyway.
When will this be available for retail? It should be available today from this moment.
Starting today indeed. But usual disclaimer applies for all graphics cards since, about 2 years now. Really depends on the availability in your region, and there's no guarantees, and the market still sucks. I think that's the short version. The TLDR, the market still sucks, and there's, if you're lucky, you can scoop one up, and if not, then, it's probably what most people are experiencing.
Okay, let's go in more detail.
Yeah, sure. So what I've done is I've put them next to each other in a grid. Wow, that's we're blocking most of the info here. Can you maybe? Is it possible?
Can I disappear?
No, is there like a PPT view? Or something?
Yeah, I can fix something.
No. Like the PPT on the left side. Is there not a PPT?
No, I deleted that one.
What?
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
I can do like this.
Yeah. Yes.
And I can fix some background.
I don't even think you have to do that.
Hey.
We don't want to distract too much from the main content, Eric. Come on. Anyway, while Eric is doing that, I will talk about it. So as you can see, I didn't go all the way up to the 3090 in the comparison chart. I just went up to the 3070 Ti. Otherwise, everything gets too small, and you kind of get the idea.
Look at that.
This is a card that's really meant for 1080p gaming. In some titles, you can still get away with 4040p quite okay, but on average, really, 1080p is really where this one shines. 3060 and upwards, especially towards the 3070, it's 4040p territory pretty much. 3070 Ti upwards, that's really where 4K starts to be more possible. This is without ray tracing, by the way, just to clarify. And also, I think without even DLSS enabled. So DLSS can give you a nice extra boost in-game performance. Going back to the actual specs, as you can see, it's based on the GA106 die. It is also the 8nm process that all of the current generation NVIDIA cards are created on. It's got 2560 CUDA cores. As you can see, quite a bit fewer than the 3060. It's got 80 tensor cores and 20 ray tracing cores or RT
So this is
cores.
actually the first time in this segment you have ray tracing cores.
For a 50 level card, yes, correct. I mean, because in the 20 series, of course, it kind of stopped at 2060. That was the lowest end that actually had ray tracing.
And below
that, you had the 16, the GTX 16 series, indeed.
1660 Ti and
1660, 1650 even, I think you had, indeed, and the Super. And
at that moment, the argument from NVIDIA was, we are not going to put tensor cores ray tracing cores in this one, because it's too slow. And indeed, at that level, at that moment, it was not like mature enough to give you enough FPS. And I believe also game developers in the recent years, years already, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So, they fine-tune the engines, there's more understanding on what makes the biggest impact. So, in a lot of games now, you see that they have ray tracing and they really only apply it on a few things which make a visual impact, but don't have a big impact. And of course, you can fine-tune this with all the settings.
Yeah, and I mean, back in those days, DLSS, I mean, it was starting and it had some promise, but it wasn't quite as far and well implemented as it is today. So today, in a lot of titles, actually, DLSS can really add something, even without ray tracing. I remember when it was first introduced, I think it was like tied to ray tracing. If you didn't enable ray tracing, DLSS also wouldn't work. Now that's a separate thing. Yeah. And it really adds something that, for example, even on an RTX 3050, for example, where running it normally 1080p is fine, but 4040p can already be a bit challenging on some titles, especially if you put everything up to max. But using DLSS, that can already boost your performance by quite a bit. Yeah. So it becomes also a big bonus, not just to have those RT and tensor cores for the purposes of ray tracing, but also especially those tensor cores, because they take care of the DLSS part for that one.
Yeah, Chilled Simon is saying, I don't think this card will be any worse for miners. I also doubt it, because of course they want to have the higher hash rates, and they also,
I think they tested it indeed. I see that the Highlander, nice name by the way, was also saying it has a very low hash rate apparently, the 3050. Yeah. So it really isn't that interesting for miners, and I hope it isn't indeed.
But did NVIDIA drop the low hash rate, or is it all default low hash rate?
I think it's default these days, because indeed it can be a bit confusing. At some point, of course, they launched the LHR or low hash rate versions of existing cards that were released previously.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, indeed the cards that have been introduced after that was done, after that split happened, basically, they are automatically LHR enabled, basically, or but they don't use the name anymore because, well, I don't know why. Because there isn't a normal version anyway, so there's no point in. I guess that's the reasoning.
Peter, Hulk has an answer. I want you to ask the question.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So they all require 6-pin power connectors. So what was his question we missed?
They all require 6-pin?
Yeah.
I'm looking here, but this one has an 8-pin, so.
Okay, so he answered this. Well, then you can still make up the question, right?
Close enough, though. I think most of them,
What is the wrong answer on how many power connections you need?
Yeah, but I guess you're talking about the power use, the TDP, the power use you need. So by default for the 3050, it's from NVIDIA basically, it's 130 watts. So especially if you compare it to, as you can see below here, the 3060 and 3060i and the bigger cousins basically, they go up pretty quickly to 200 plus watts towards the 300 watts. So 130 watt is really not much, and it doesn't require that much to cool it, especially, I mean, that's why dual fan cooling is already pretty much overkill, to be fair.
Nowadays 130 watt is special.
Yeah, I mean you've also got cards. I'm not sure what the limit is. I think like 80 watts or something, that they don't even need an external power connector anymore, right? So they can just get all the power through the PCIe slot.
It should be 70. Actually, the official spec in the PCI Express slot is 75 watts.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 75. Yeah. So we're not quite there yet, but it's in terms of cards that require their dedicated power connectors, it's on the relatively low end indeed.
You remember,
so very efficient.
At one moment, AMD had a VGA card, and you can always take power from the PCI Express connector and from the PEG connector from your power supply.
Wasn't that the RX 5000 series?
Something, yeah, it's a few years ago.
5600 XT
and
or something?
they were drawing too much power from your motherboard. out of spec. Of course, that works in most situations, but not always. So.
In some cases, I think that like the protection from the motherboard would kick in, and it would just basically cut off the power. Then basically, the screen goes black and the display driver crashes and all kinds of stability issues ensued. Could have been the 590. Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a while ago. I remember that.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Feels like a long time ago, but I guess that's because so much has happened in the meantime. Anyway, so still pretty well endowed in terms of tensor cores and RT cores. Not bad at all. 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory, also pretty good, especially considering some more recent launches, which shall remain unnamed. And a 128-bit memory bus. So. Yeah, all in all, that should be pretty good. I've seen some tests also now then comparing the PCIe 4.0 lanes, or using a PCIe 4.0 motherboard versus a motherboard that can only do PCIe 3.0. And yeah, there was some variation in performance, but I think most of them said it was like, 2% or something. So
normally this is 1 to 2% at this moment.
So it's close to, within margin of error.
In gaming, let me say that, because there are some professional, they talk about Quadro and some like render GPUs, and they can make a bigger difference.
Yeah. Chatmoon, when is the release time? Right now, actually, as to about 1.5 hours ago, I think, officially. Yeah. And is it the same worldwide? Yes, it should be, yeah.
So how come I keep seeing 3050s with 4 gig of VRAM?
That's a good question.
Not sure about that one.
I haven't seen those yet.
No.
MSI RAM memory when? I don't think soon.
No plan.
Does the Aero RTX 3050 get the same spec? Well, I mean, I can quickly look into that, to be fair, because we've got the models here anyway. And actually, I came prepared a little bit. Because what I did is
Hey, this is new?
Sorry?
You got my attention.
Yeah, I know. No, because I went to the website, and here you can do this, by the way. If you want to find out this kind of information, you can basically, I'll go back here. If you go to MSI graphics cards and then, click on the left side, you can click the GPU that you want to focus on. So in this case, 3050, and you get all the models. And basically, you can just, click add to compare on all the models. Now, I've taken all the OC models because there are 6 models, but basically they are the 3 lines. So you've got gaming, you've got Aero RTX, and you've got Ventus.
And then OC and non-OC.
Exactly, and those are all divided up into then OC and non-OC models, basically. So I'm going to take all the OC models, and once you've selected those, you can just click the compare button on the left, and then this one, and then it'll open up a new window for you.
You might need to zoom a bit.
Yeah.
Or I need glasses.
We can do that. There you go. I think
maybe
this is better.
A bit more.
Maybe more.
Yeah,
right,
maybe like this. Yeah.
Anyway, so here you can see, and then the thing that's highlighted in red should be the differences. And
so actually, from left to right, it's Ventus, gaming, and
RTX. So the order indeed is a bit. I don't think you can change it.
No.
Nope. But anyway, so it's a bit weird. Anyway, so the things highlighted in red are the things that basically the system tries to find, are there any differences? And sometimes it's a bit stupid, like here, like for example the name, well obviously it's different, but also in the PCIe, the interface, PCI Express interface, they're all the same, they're all Gen 4 times 8. However, because the way they write it is a bit different, we're working on this, by the way. But it's basically submitted in the database a bit different, and that's also why it says it's different, even though it isn't. Core clocks, they were NDA until today. I guess they will be updated soon, but there will be some differences here, I expect. So the gaming
will have the highest.
Exactly. Gaming usually has the highest clock speed, also because that's related to the cooling and the power design. It will also be, remember that the TDP is 130 watts by default, but on the gaming it will probably be closer to 150. And the Aero RTX, because of the size constraints and the cooling as well, because it's only one fan and it has to be a bit smaller, it will probably keep to the 130 watts.
Yeah.
Also, therefore, the core clocks will be just a bit lower. So basically, I would expect it to be pretty much the default. Actually, no, the OC version will be a bit higher than the default for the Aero RTX model, but still a bit lower than gaming. Not a whole lot difference, but still a bit. Memory speed is identical. They're all 14 gigabytes per second.
That's just spec for the GPU at this moment.
Yeah, exactly. They all have 8 gigs of GDDR6. They all have the same memory bus. They all should have the same outputs as well.
Somebody made a typo.
Well, 1.4, 1.4a. I think they're all 1.4a.
Same, yeah.
Exactly. Power consumption, I mean, this is just the NVIDIA spec that's listed here. So even though the gaming could be a bit higher, they all have a single 8-pin, according to this overview. I think that's pretty much correct.
Yeah.
One of the major differences, of course, between these cards will be the dimensions and the weight.
You only have which one here? Gaming, right?
Yeah, the one in the middle. So unfortunately, the weight isn't listed here. Again, these specs will probably be updated very soon. But you can already see the size dimensions. The size or the dimensions. So the Aero ITX card, which I think that was this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on the right. Here we go. I just wanted to make sure. As you can see, that one is 10 centimeters shorter than the gaming. So this is the shortest one compared to all these between these 3 cards. The Ventus 2X is somewhere in the middle. In terms of the thickness, also it's about 5 millimeters thinner. No, am I saying that right?
Yes.
No. I think this is the height. This is the thickness, sorry. But the thickness also, I mean, I think this pretty much falls within 2 slots. And this is just a little bit more than 2 slots.
You have it over there, right?
Sorry?
You have the card over there, you can have a check.
I have this one here indeed, and if I can't find the driver anyway, I'm going to yank it off, but I can't do that right now because this is also the PC that the...
But 2 slots?
It's just over 2 slots indeed, gaming. Just over 2 slots.
No, we don't.
So that means that indeed the Aero ITX will probably be within 2 slots. But also that you can check, and I'll show you that later on. The weight you can also check. Unfortunately, you cannot compare it to the gaming at the moment. So here's where you can, if you really want to know the differences between these cards, that's where you can find it. And if you're interested in, the thickness of the card, here's the Aero ITX. You can go to the product page, go to gallery. We always have a nice shot from the side, and here you can see it is indeed within 2 slots. If it's not, and we'll go to the gaming as an example, because that one should stick out a little bit.
Just a little bit.
There you go. So here you can see actually that indeed it's a bit more than 2 slots. This bracket here represents and is 2 slots. And if it sticks out a bit, it's a bit wider than 2 slots. So it's a very simple way of finding out. And then you can do the same with the Ventus 2X if you're interested in that. I think this one should be also within 2. There we go. Yeah, also within 2 slots. So very easy way to find out.
This also shows. It's not really definite proof, but it suggests that the gaming cooler has a bigger cooling block.
It is
more heat pipes.
Yes. Yeah. Also has the flow-through design, whereas the the Ventus also has it. But the Aero ITX, I believe not.
No.
As you can see here, well, no, not really, because this is the PCB, so it really, this doesn't let air through. Yeah, because that's because the the cooler of the both the Ventus and the gaming is a bit longer, so that means that you have space. The PCB only goes so far basically.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the space is where you can still have heatsink, and then you can let the air through for. It's called a flow-through design for enhanced air dispersion. Any other kind of questions like this? Because it's this really nice.
What is the release time worldwide? 1 hour
right now,
ago.
today.
Today, indeed.
Yeah.
I see Adi is saying, I know somebody who's selling his GTX 1060 with the same price. Some people are indeed selling their old GPU and are upgrading to this without that they have more performance benefit.
Yeah.
It's more that they have a newer GPU, and for example, this one offers ray tracing, offers, compared to which one you said? 1060, so you have DLSS support, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah,
1060, no, it doesn't, because you need tensor cores for that.
Yeah.
So previously it was only the 2060 and up that would support ray tracing or DLSS.
Yeah, so I think that's a smart upgrade. If it's for the same price and newer GPUs in the like 1 year time, they're more easy to sell than older GPUs.
Yeah. Yeah, and so to be fair, I mean, we'll get to that in a moment because we've also got the performance charts we borrowed from TechSpot. Maybe let's go to them now.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of the performance and the kind of performance. So we didn't just include, cards from this generation or even only NVIDIA. As you can see here, this is 1080p, high settings. If you want to know more about which games exactly, I think this is a 12 game average, which games exactly they tested, you can go to TechSpot or their YouTube channel, which is Hardware Unboxed, to find out exactly. This is just to give you an indication and some kind of feel. So 1080p on average, yeah, above 100 FPS.
Peter, isn't the release tomorrow, people are saying?
No.
No, but I mean, they say maybe on shelf date.
Oh, no, I think it should be today, but
we didn't check the NDA documents.
Could be.
I didn't.
Maybe it's tomorrow indeed. So that could be.
I'm going to check.
Maybe it's tomorrow. Anyway, but the performance you can expect is just 1080p is quite respectable. It's still over 100 FPS. This is without using DLSS and also not using ray tracing. But as you can see, it's still the 2060 6 gig version, for example, is still faster than the 3050, which is not really that surprising because this is a 50 level, right? It's very comparable in pure raw performance to the 1660 Super of the last generation. And as you can see, especially the 6600 is really a lot faster. But then again, the 6600 in this case, at 1080p at least, is pretty much equal to the 3060. So also that's not very surprising. But this is pretty much where it's located in terms of the performance you can expect. How are the temps with that cooler? Well, we were hoping to show you that, and I still hope that I can do that, but I'll have to watch in a minute to see if the drivers have now become available or not. But it should be, I mean, I've seen multiple reviews, and they say pretty much, I don't know, like 60, within the 60 degrees, 66 or something like that. And then, I mean, this cooler really doesn't have to work that hard.
So, the review date, embargo date, is indeed today. The on-shelf date is indeed tomorrow.
Right, okay.
And that's tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning PT, Pacific time,
All right.
and 3 o'clock CET time, so Central European time.
Yeah, it's about exactly tomorrow in about, what is it, 22
and a half hours.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
22 and a half hours.
So maybe we were spreading misinformation.
Yes, sorry about that, by the way. So correcting myself.
We didn't do our homework.
Yeah, correcting myself here. So the availability date is actually tomorrow. So in that case, I'm not surprised that the drivers aren't available yet. That's probably going to be tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my bad. Anyway, but that also means that we can't show any gameplay today, unfortunately. Anyway, so yeah, this is the performance on 1080p. If we then look at 1440p, here, as you can see, it's I mean, the order of the cards doesn't change, but the differences between those cards does become a bit bigger because, yeah, this card is struggling a bit more. It can still break 60 FPS quite easily, but it's not as high up in the FPS anymore. So it's now only at 74 on average, depending on the game and your settings, of course. But as you can see, if you have a 2060 6 gig from last generation, you have no reason whatsoever to upgrade because it actually isn't an upgrade in that respect.
Well, not FPS, but
No.
you will get DLSS, you will get
No,
ray
the 2060
tracing,
had that as well.
and a newer system.
The 2060 has DLSS support as well. I was talking about,
I thought you were talking 1660.
No, if you're talking about 1660 Super, I mean, it is faster than a 66 Super, especially when it comes to 4040p, but it's not really the platform for it. But you can do it indeed, and then you'll have the added benefit of being able to use DLSS in the games, if you play games that have DLSS support, of course. Yeah. In this segment, pretty much, yeah, like I mentioned, 3060, RX 6600 are a bit more suitable. So you can get away with playing, and this is all pretty much at high settings, not ultra, by the way, at 4040p, not ultra settings, but high settings. You can always tweak a bit if you're fine with putting some settings on medium or playing with it, optimizing it that way. Or if your game supports DLSS, probably you can get a lot higher FPS out of it.
Most games, the ultra settings, you don't see any difference, and especially not during gameplay.
No, there are relatively small differences indeed, but they do have a huge performance cost.
Yes, so high settings.
Gig RAM, you're forgiven for using caps, but you're absolutely right. I was actually had the same reaction that it's actually not that bad. I was expecting worse. Not expecting, but I don't know. It's just a feeling that I had like 4040p is really going to struggle, and it's not actually that bad. So yeah. Still, if I was a 4040p gamer, I would probably not choose the 3050. I mean, in the perfect world, if I had a choice, basically, and all the cards were available,
at MSRP,
the 3050 would not be my card of choice for 1440p. But you can get away with it if you can still pretty much game on it in a pretty good experience if you want to.
Peter, you know pricing?
No, but also.
It actually doesn't matter, Peter.
No, well, it's pointless also. I mean, we can say, there's an MSRP or whatever, and NVIDIA communicates their MSRPs, but, in the end, you almost don't see cards for that price anyway. It's, there's really no point in discussing it. I'm really sorry. I wish it was different.
Yeah.
But, yeah. My current card is 9+ years old, if I can get this one. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've also seen some reviews, and they were, including cards in the review from the 10 series even, like 1070, for example. I think in some benchmarks, some games, 3050 performance was not even that far from the GTX 1070.
Which was a very good card at that moment.
Exactly, yeah. Or I think it was 980 Ti from the 900 era.
Actually,
I mean, those are missing a lot of key functionality. You don't get DLSS support, you don't get ray tracing, you don't get the newer encoders from NVIDIA that they have for streaming. So you are missing out on definitely on some things.
I use 1070 for Battlefield 4040p Ultra.
Yeah. Yeah, I also used it for quite a long time when when the 10 series was the series. Yeah. So it was a really good card back in the day, and still is pretty good. Any major difference between PCIe 3.0 and 4.0? Well, we actually mentioned this before as well. There is a small performance difference, but it's pretty much limited to about 1 or 2%, so it's not relevant. It's within margin of error.
Yeah, this is because this is
It's PCIe. It's 8 lanes.
8 lanes.
8 PCIe lanes. This one uses indeed. So then it's. Especially with a card like this, at this performance level, you're not going to notice that, at least not in gaming.
And actually 8 lanes of PCI Express 4.0 is the same like 16 PCI Express 3.0.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing is that even in PCIe 3.0, 8 lanes is still plenty. If you go, because everybody I think is focusing on this because of the RX 6500 XT reviews, which only used 4 lanes in total, whether it's PCIe 4.0 or 3.0. On 4.0, 4 lanes is also still, it's fine. But if your system doesn't support 4.0 and it only has PCIe 3.0, yeah, you're going to notice that. With this card, that's not really the case. You might notice a small difference, but probably you won't notice it at all. Gaius, Emil, you got a 3060 Gaming X Trio. I think you're set for now, man.
Yeah.
I think you're,
enjoy it.
Yeah, stick with that for now. I think most people work it backwards from the monitor they own. Yeah, I mean, and this is not. It's not a bad idea. Whenever people ask me for advice in the past, like, hey, what kind of graphics card do I need? I always ask them 2 things. One, what is your monitor resolution, and what,
do you
is
plan
it
to
4K,
upgrade?
4040p, is it full HD? And also, what kind of games do you want to run on it? And not just one game, because almost nobody plays exclusively one game. But I want to get like an idea of what kind of gamer they are. Are they typically a AAA gamer or typically a competitive gamer? And those 2 things can really help to choose what is the best value, the best GPU for you. In most cases, I mean, you'll still have some outliers. But yeah, those two factors, you can pretty much see what you need.
Yeah.
See any other interesting questions, Eric?
No,
How about the multimedia
but,
and code
well, no, I'm not
decode
saying
support?
no, but I'm going to do a
Oh,
giveaway.
yeah. Yes, I think that's a good idea. So maybe switch. Oh no, we don't have to. It's actually yeah, you can do it. We are giving away game keys for Rainbow Six Extraction. I have to watch out not to say Rainbow Six Siege. It's been like years of saying that title, so it's so natural. But Rainbow Six Extraction. And yeah, we hope to be able to play later on as well. I'm going to then swap out this card
This
live.
non-working weight.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of screwed up in terms of I thought that and I hope that the drivers would be available today, or maybe we could get one from somebody. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. So yeah, all right. Yeah, so you can participate to win one of the game keys, and you can go to msi.com/do/insider, or you can click on the link that is being posted into both our YouTube and Twitch chat by our Stream Elements bot. It's a gleam.io link. If there are any other links claiming to be for our giveaway, don't click on them.